And welcome back, everyone, for another 70-star round. I'm accompanied this time by Simply on co-commentary for this race between Heisenburger and Blue Esports' own RockChalk. Now, Simply, how are you doing today, and what are you looking forward to in this race?
I am doing absolutely incredible, Electric. Thank you for asking. And I'm looking forward to some hot 70-star action. I mean, what else can you really ask for? Heisenberger and RockChalk, I feel like this is going to be a very good race. Heisenberger and RockChalk, both very solid players. And I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might actually be the match that determines who moves on to the bracket. I'm going to double check that.
That seems correct. I believe both of these guys 1-1, so one of these guys will be moving on off this match, and the other will be unfortunately voted off of that island.
Right. So we got an intense episode of Survivor here today on the Survivor Challenge. We'll be seeing who can complete Mario faster than the other person. And right after we start, both players on English, very smart. So, Electric, would you like to hear some stats on exactly what's going down here and where these players stand on the leaderboard?
I would love it.
All right. On the left side of the ring, representing Blue Esports RockChalk19, coming in hot with a 50-57 as of 3 months ago. Now, the 3 months ago is important because Heisenberger has a 49-50 as of 7 days ago. And, I mean, okay, 1 minute apart, you're like, all right, well, I mean, there's a clear difference here, but RockChalk has actually been putting in a lot of time on 16 these days. I don't know how much he's actually been grinding 70. To me, RockChalk also seems like a heavy 120 guy. So I don't think that you can really say one's better than the other. It feels almost dead even.
Exactly right. I mean, I'm sure RockChalk has had some improvement in the 3 months, but just not running 70-star enough to improve that PB. And already we're seeing a pretty close sync, both of them getting Lakitu skip. While they're preparing for Bomb Clip, I wanted to just present one small correction on something said last stream. We talked about star grabs and exactly how they counted. Someone pointed out in a DM to me that as soon as Mario touches a star, that star counter increments, regardless of if he's even able to do his dance. So, yeah, basically everything I said was apparently wrong. Mario does not need to land on solid ground. What I said just applies to him dancing, not the actual star get. And likewise, these guys both getting Bomb Clip, regardless of what anyone else says they can do. So let's see. Both of them going for the secret slide. Ooh, never have we had the opportunity for chat to make double guesses at the very beginning of a race like this. Simp, I'm feeling... You know what? I'm feeling double 12-8s on these guys. What about you?
I'm feeling double 12-7s. And man, just look at the sync. It is so gorgeous. It just makes me want to cry. I don't know about you, but I need to grab the tissues. Both players, you know, dreamy. Brilliant. Yep. Sliding on down. 12.9s double.
Double 12.9s. They get the double, but both commentators with an outdated copy of that script. You know, it says both runners will get same time, 12.8. So, you know, they must have collaborated, decided to rebel. That's going to dock a little bit of their pay for this.
Yeah, you know, commentators getting an alarming amount of bits and payment. It makes sense to cut it down a little bit, especially with such a heinous mistake. But players now entering Womp's Fortress, a pretty, I mean, it seems like an innocent stage, right? There's not too much to do. I really only feel like the 100 is spicy, but I have been proven wrong multiple occasions. You've got Owlus causing problems, Cannonless, and here's an Owlus from RockChalk. It's good. Heisenberger with nice.
Yeah, that nice stock folder setup on Cannonless. So both of them trading blows pretty even. You know, let's see if they go ahead and switch places with RockChalk doing Cannonless, or if they go ahead and try to go into that 100 coin, which we have seen a fair amount in these races.
And looking like they're just going to be switching positions. Heisenberger now going for his Owlus, and RockChalk with a texture setup. This could save him some time, but it could also hurt him. Heisenberger struggling with the ball game, but RockChalk missing Cannonless and Heisenberger bonking on the island. Oh, man. There's a lot cooking right here.
I mean, this looked like, you know, a pretty handy time save for this looked like a pretty looked like a pretty handy time save for RockChalk, but unfortunately eating that. But at the same time, Heisenberg just saying, you know what, I got a little bit of the, baby blue to cook, so let me take a minute on this Owless.
And okay, and now RockChalk backing off, taking the more secure setup. That's why you don't do texture setup. And he misses
it. Still fails.
RockChalk is in an emergency right now. We need assistance. Somebody call 911. We need the paramedics. We need the body bag, perhaps.
Yeah,
really
he's just
struggling.
Slamming his thumb down on the rifler button. Again, how? He must be just barely nudging something incorrectly on there and falling right through the bridge.
No, RockChalk. This is so unfortunate. An awful start. Can he just get Canalus? Gonna go for the texture setup because whatever, it doesn't really matter what he does. It doesn't seem to work. And finally, getting Canalus. That is going to give Heisenberger a pretty commanding lead.
Yep, and I mean that's a pretty big time loss for the beginning of this race. I mean, we're looking at both of these guys. Heisenberg basically up a 100 coin star here. So, I mean, RockChalk has a lot of ground to make up already, and that's not the first time we've seen all those cannonless resets, but usually that stock folder setup is always good, always reliable, just deciding to fail for RockChalk. I mean,
yeah.
you really can't blame him in this instance. Last time I saw anything like this...
I mean, you can.
Well, he is the one, controlling the little red man, but the last time I saw this was with Sagotu, and he just kept going for OG cannonless. That was why he kept failing. But, this time, he took the safe route. Fails texture setup, says, okay, I'll do sock folder, and then just not working for him at all.
Yeah, there's a certain level of consistency to it, but there's definitely some, mild things you got to pay attention to, and RockChalk's just not quite getting the setup to work out for him. It hurts. Heisenberger clearly developing a nice lead here, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as I thought. Heisenberger looking like he's got about a 30-ish second lead, so not something that RockChalk can't come back from, but he's seriously gonna have to clean up his act.
Exactly right. I mean, it's by no means insurmountable. In fact, at this point in the race, I would say it's a negligible lead, but definitely is going to require a bit of a mental reset from RockChalk, a recentering of sorts. Maybe he needs to take that soul-searching trip down to India and learn that deep meditation and yoga strats. Who knows?
It seems as though he has, made contact with his inner Buddha, seeming to bounce back quite well. Had a nice 100 there, nice womp. I think RockChalk actually has a pretty solid mentality from what I've seen from him and just how he feels about the game, his perspective from various interviews. Heisenberger struggling to get out of womps. It's a very complicated room layout, perfectly understandable to be struggling to get out of there, but that's going to give RockChalk a slight opening. He can't get in the hole. A couple more seconds, and now, the lead is just a little bit less as we move on to Wing Cap, Dark World. What do you guess up with the slide time? Electric, what do you got in mind?
This time around, I'm thinking, let's watch this dive here. I'm thinking a 12-8.
Okay.
And right on the money. Made sure to check that script and checked it twice. Gonna find out who is right.
Interesting. Thought you were going down a different avenue there, Electric. Almost sounding like Santa, but not quite. RockChalk now in the slide as well.
I think RockChalk's going to go the opposite way. I'm saying RockChalk with a 13.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'll give him a 12.9. Heisenberger getting those first two reds. Oh, okay. 13.0. Electric with the two accurate calls. Might actually have the script.
I mean, I cannot confirm or deny this.
Okay, Heisenberger clipping on the edge there. That did not look like what he wanted to do. Was kind of, not ready for it. Not prepared.
Full wing cap ahead.
Yeah, let's see what RockChalk's got. An excellent grab there. Wow, flying around, losing control of the plane a bit. Rebalancing.
Overall, nice flying from both these boys. Heisenberger heading into Dark World. Now, I'm thinking that Heisenberger, with the pretty decent consistency we've seen so far, but a couple bobbles here and there. I'm thinking he'll make a healthy normal cycle on this, but again, Dark World, anything can happen. You know, those players getting lost in that blue-green sauce there. You know, it's a difficult stage to just keep your focus in, much less perform well.
Yeah, the main thing on their mind, I'm sure, is just, I don't want to fall here. You know, I'd like to get Shigeru Cycle. Heisenberger looking like he's going to get himself a cute, clean Shig. Does do it. And RockChalk as well, getting the button press. From this point, you're basically safe. Heisenberger looking good, going to wrap it up. And now we just got to hope that RockChalk does not take a fall. He's definitely not in a position. He does a dive rollout, but gets right up that slope. Nice side flip. Should still be able to make normal cycle without any issues. We'll lose a little bit of time to Heisen for that, though.
Yeah, with ease. May be able to pick up just a cat at a time. Yeah, going for the tower there rather than the cheese block, but having to take a little bit of time to realign himself, so normal cycle looks like...
Oh, and Heisen missing! What was that? Not enough power on the throw. Heisenberger might need to revisit the gym. Looking a little flabby.
Yep, just not quite getting that distance down. I mean, Pep interception is definitely an issue sometimes in this game.
I mean, that's a thing, I think. I'm going to have to double check with my, superiors, but we'll get back to you on that. RockChalk now here can save some time over Heisenberger. Actually, probably, nice throw. That's probably saving him more time overall, including the normal cycle. Despite having normal cycle, I think he still might be netting a nice little gain here. And we can see RockChalk creeping in on Heisenberg.
Yep, I mean, that's the key thing when you have a lead like that developing so early on.
Here we go! Go. Go. Here we go. Go. Here we go! Let's go! 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 Here we go! Let's go!
For secrets now. Double P-less, not going to have to deal with HMC early. So, best of both worlds here.
Oh, having some fun on the slope. Heisenberger getting juked out by the fly guy and plopping his butt firmly in the sand. Having to take a seat, the thinking sand, if you will. And gonna have to get this talent over here. That's gonna cost him a pretty penny or two. And we see RockChalk getting 23 stars. It's hard to say who really has the lead. You know, RockChalk rocking the double pillarless, but I think it actually should be synced up. RockChalk with a little ground pound. It should be synced up after they leave Shifting Sandland, right?
Oh, yes. And since RockChalk only has talent remaining, I'm going to preliminarily say he's got the lead. Heisenberg just has to do the top of the pyramid. Heisenberg with a moderate lead, but it has been cut down tremendously from its previous glory.
Yeah, RockChalk diligently working hard overtime to supply that time save for him and his family. Honorable, to say the least.
Now we're seeing both these guys go ahead and go into lethal land. So Heisenberg opting to start with the log skip. Let's see what RockChalk decides to go for here. He's actually going for bullies first. Don't blame him at all.
Yeah, and Heisenberger doing the red coin things just has to... I don't know, man. Heisenberger's looking okay from what I'm seeing, but I'm not sure what's going through his mind, you know, with these tiny mistakes here and there. RockChalk, honestly, looking very strong. Oh, okay. Has to do the backup bully.
But nails that big bully with that ground pound, so definitely a pretty solid performance on those triple bullies. So they're close. I mean, RockChalk started out just nipping on Heisenberger's heels in this triple L, and definitely going to stay that way, it looks like, if not getting all the way through.
Ooh, interesting strat from Rock. Yeah, the chat. What are they asking about?
They're asking who kicked the console. You know, definitely a theme from my youth. You know, playing pretty well, getting that third throw on Bowser. It's headed toward the bomb, and the screen just goes blank. Your little cousin standing there just screaming that he's sorry, but it does not matter to you.
And the only way to save the situation... Oh, Heisen as well. Struggling a little bit on those three bullies. They are pretty tricky. Definitely one of the more lethal parts of the lava land. But yeah, you know, kicking the console, naturally a great way to fix everything. Usually, definitely, almost will probably, certainly fix your problems, but probably not. Not at all, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the stuff inside the volcano, those bullies really present the biggest hassle. Because if you think about it, the rest of what you're doing is just reds and the log rolling star. Not too much difficulty to deal with. Plus, the big bully, I mean, having one big guy to work with is definitely easier than three smalls. RockChalk going in for lava boost, and he misses
but a failed
just
lava boost.
barely falling under.
Heisenberg
also getting a failed lava boost, attempting to get onto the elevator, but dying instead. Just like that, RockChalk has now taken the lead just because Heisenberger took a sloppier death than him.
I'm shocked. Okay, RockChalk's death made more sense. Heisenberger's death made no sense. Both players dropping the ball on the boost, doesn't really matter, kind of cancels out. Huge jump from Heisenberger. He's just looking a tiny bit frazzled. And might I add that possibly a little bit dazzled.
I mean, that razzle-dazzle, you know, it looks good on you, but it definitely blocks a little bit of that vision. And so we're seeing now the elevator from RockChalk. We've seen a lot of guys find very creative ways to mess this up. Let's see if he joins those ranks. Getting that rollout clean, no bonk, no death. Very nice. Let's see if Heisenberger can match. At this point, I mean, in one level, we see Heisenberger going from just a slight lead to RockChalk with a double-digit lead.
Yeah, RockChalk is not messing around. He wants to make it in the tournament. Again, folks, this is the match. It's a big one.
Absolutely, and what's really great about this match, despite the initial route difference, it's already resolved itself thanks to RockChalk going for double P-less, and so the rest of this match, you're going to have a very accurate view of how close these guys are. RockChalk entering DDD as the store's opening for Heisenberger. Let's see what he manages to grab from that water sales.
You can bet that there's going to be a good price. I feel like things are on sale, perhaps on clearance, might be nasty, expired milk, food, items, but at the end of the day, if it tastes edible, then you're probably okay. I'd be willing to bet on that, in fact. And, you know, speaking of betting, commentator with the smoothest segue that we've ever seen, Vi.GG is sponsoring this tournament. Huge shout-outs to them, providing the funds for these players and incentive as well. You can check them out. Exclamation point bet in the chat. If you are interested, you may place bets on the 3 tournaments being ran that are sponsored by Vi. Super Mario 64 70 Star, obviously one of them, but Super Metroid any percent and Super Mario Odyssey any percent. Thank you, Vi. Now both players stroking. Beautiful breaststroke underwater. Honestly, Mario's got great form.
He really does. I mean, he's pulling those hands in right to his chest and doing that wide arc, catching a lot of the water. And swimming, you may not exactly think this, it's not quite intuitive, but most of the work is done with your arms. Even though your legs look like they're doing a lot with the kicking, really most of the work and the speed comes from how well and fast you're moving those arms.
It's true. Commentator, a certified swimming instructor in his time, in his prime, can confirm that a lot of power comes from the arms. But a nice kick is a great little frosting on the cake, if you will.
Exactly right. And who likes their cake without frosting? I mean, I'm sure they make sugar-free frosting for those of us that can't have that much sugar. But then again, if you need sugar-free frosting, why are you eating cake?
Yeah. It's a tough world to live in. I can't even imagine a world without cake. Can we have a moment, a speedrun hands moment for those that are unable to eat cake? And RockChalk Fire Sea. This is legendary moment right here. A pretty big make or break it typically. You know, RockChalk, if he drops one input, could lose the cycle. Heisenburger could have a chance here to get back in the lead. We'll just have to see how it goes down.
Yep, looks like RockChalk with very clean execution so far. And I mean, if it says anything about this stage, no Heisenburger with a little bobble there. Definitely costing him lava boost. Ooh, and RockChalk not even going for lava boost. Definitely looked like clean enough execution for it, but...
Yeah, he messed up the elevator segment, didn't get the triple jump, and we'll see what Heisenburger's got in store. Heisenburger looking like he can get the lava boost and will be packing on some time back towards getting his lead.
RockChalk avoiding that burn and getting the good ending, but a bonk. That's
really wrong.
I guess that's a ending now. Both of them getting a good ending. Wow.
Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Heisenburger now only a second behind. RockChalk performing as he needed to. The genius. Immaculate work from Heisenburger. It is in his DNA, his RNA, polymerases. It's deep. It's intertwining with his helixes. Commentator pretending like he has any idea what he's talking about. Nobody probably fooled by that at all, but now it's time to toss the Bowser.
I mean, exactly. You know, RockChalk played through this with probably, 200, 210 IQ. Both of them getting that nice bomb. Meanwhile, Heisenburger just playing at 3,000 IQ at the moment. Definitely wild to see. I mean, he's got IQ leaking out of his chromosomes at the moment, making his DNA into literal chains inside his body.
Leaking! He's leaking! Somebody call somebody, please. And back in that hole, oh my goodness, the sync that we have got 27 minutes into this thing. Breathtaking view from the commentator's booth.
Exactly, and it's worth noting that that Tago, who's currently going for world record attempts in this category, when he decides to turn chat off is after Fire Sea. So for him, this is really where 70 Star gets super real when he's going for PB attempts. And with them being this close together, I imagine these guys are feeling very similar. Both going for the 100 coin route first.
Okay, Heisenburger getting the double kick, but I don't know if you saw it. Heisenburger missing a coin right off the bat. Cannot miss anymore. And Wet Dry World, the RNG is not the nicest. But this Skeeter helping him out.
A very nice mosquito from him, but missing that blue coin, that's going to cost him.
And RockChalk right away. Starting off great in Wet Dry World. Oh, but missing that coin. Not the end of the world. I mean, at this point, you're pretty good. The Chuckia could be a problem, but the 10 coin boxes are reasonable.
Yep, and you're at such a Ooh, RockChalk taking a zap, and just like that, Heisenburger being able to catch up right on his heels yet again. I mean, I'm really not sure who's going to come out of Wet Dry World on top. And even then, if they'll stay in that position, Heisenburger having to get a ledge grab there, wasting a few seconds.
Yeah, Heisenburger is looking just a little bit sluggish. Maybe a bit agitated from his mistakes previously. Could be getting in his head a bit. It's just the only thing I can come to the conclusion of with these weird errors I'm seeing. Missing a coin there, and RockChalk coming out. Oh, into that bonk. What is that? Heisenburger having a moment out here. Needs to recenter himself. Just take a step back. Realize that he's still got a perfectly good chance of taking it home. Heisenburger did mention in his last interview that he doesn't want to watch the stream because, you know, it'll affect the nerves if you know somebody's right on your tail or right ahead of you. He'd rather just go on his own, and might be thinking in his head, oh man, I'm making all these mistakes. I died in Lethal Lava Land. Like, RockChalk is going to take me home. But the reality of the situation is it's a very close match.
Exactly right. I mean, mentality is such a huge thing in this game. We like to talk about strats and, you know, players, PBs, but really the biggest thing that is going to be your boon going into a race, aside from, you know, if your PB is an hour and you're going against cheese, is what you're going in mentally with. If you're going in with the mindset of, I'm just here to have fun, I'm going to brush off my mistakes, or if you're going in with that knuckle down, like, this has to be perfect mindset. The latter can really hurt you in so many ways, especially if you're not as consistent as that requires.
Yeah, it's intense out here. This is no joke. This
Serious
is for all
things,
the marbles.
no playing.
All the marbles on the table. Every single last marble. Every Mario figurine.
They're even throwing the Pogs in here. Probably nobody's played with Pogs, but who cares? All of them going into this pile.
What? RockChalk losing his mind there a bit. Thought he was in the Matrix. Forgot that he had to unplug himself from the machine. Camera angle not quite there. Losing some free seconds that Heisenburger will gladly munch on. Taking a big bite.
Yeah, but I mean, with this close of a race, you really cannot give up anything, honestly. Granted, in any race, you really don't want to give up anything that you don't have to, but RockChalk going into THI, we've seen this destroy people before. You know, you can't make mistakes really that will completely kill you, but you can lose a lot of time on these secrets with just a few little bobbles.
It's true. Oh, and right off the bat getting caught there. This angle, a little weird. Okay, he's got the double jump. Nice. Oh,
but it triples up into the bonk there.
And now the script has been flipped. RockChalk rubbing on every possible object that he can. Heisenberg going to be saving big time over RockChalk, now right on his tail, only a couple seconds behind.
Now, did you see those camera strats from Heisenberger? I don't think I've seen anyone move the camera behind themselves like that so much.
Were you talking about when the camera zoomed in?
Right. From about the second secret on.
Right, yeah, that's a lag reduction. There's a lot of lag in that part of the island, so they go Mario Cam if they're professional gamers, and they save some decent time. RockChalk now going up to the top. Little flip-flop here. Heisenburger executing these piranhas in cold blood. Does whatever he needs to do, but missing that one. Not a huge deal.
And we found out last race by watching what happened to, I'm not sure which racer it was, but the piranha plants to spawn, Mario actually has to be facing their spawn location. One of the players was just past their spawn location, and it just did not do anything.
Huh.
Kind of an interesting little tidbit there.
Definitely a tidbit. Speaking of bits, you know, bits could be nice. Did see some bits in the chat earlier. Thank you for the bits, RockChalk. Yeah, that should be good. And Heisenburger, I have not seen that payoff for Heisenburger yet, losing actually probably a couple seconds from going for the clip and trying to go faster there. Might want to brush up on that strat a little bit more. He's looking a little bit rugged, a little dirty.
And I mean, going around the side of the mountain there is not a very bad strat at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, it honestly is barely slower. The clip strat saves a very minimal amount of time, and you have to be killing it to save that time.
Now, let's see how RockChalk handles TTM. This is where upstairs really starts getting heated up. Bowser, you know, goes ahead and turns that stove from high to maximum overdrive.
Yeah, my favorite setting, you know, for cooking a nice pizza is maximum overdrive, and Bowser not hesitating to turn the heat up on these players, trying to sweat them out. But Mario, Doughboy, doesn't need to worry about sweating. and breathtaking view thing. Beautifully done. Heisenberger taking a little bit longer there. But both players doing their thing. You know, Tall Tall Mountain has also been a pretty sore point for some players. You've got the clip. You've got Reds. Even seen some problems happening with Breezeless.
Yep, and that log jump wall kick, I mean, that can be pretty nefarious, but both of our guys making quick work of it. Having to get ledge grabs, no firsties, but that's okay.
Yeah, a little awkward. He's getting up, and ain't no thing but a chicken wang, except not quite a chicken wang. Possibly a boneless wing. Could be some new experimental thing from Taco Bell. RockChalk going for the Breezeless, but not even believing in it. Just messed it up right away. Didn't want to bother. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep. So both of these guys not really getting tossed around by Torturous Mountain. That treacherous, torturing mountain.
That is it. All right, Reds. Oh, bonk from Heisen. Now, how does he recover? Excellent.
Very nice recovery there. Not really losing much time at all.
Yeah. I mean, we say it a lot here, but it has to be reiterated. It's not so much about the mistake. It's about how you bounce back. Because sometimes it's not even the mistake that costs you the most time. It's the little things that happen afterwards just because you're upset or it's on your mind or you're in an unfamiliar position because of the mistake. It's tough stuff, man.
Exactly right. Now, Heisenberger going for that box jump. Haven't really seen anyone fail that recently, so definitely a good sight to see there. RockChalk going to be joining him, and Heisenberger going to be going on back inside for his last star. Going for, let's see if he goes for the Breezeless.
Nah.
Not going to bother with it. He knows that he's
a
little bit of ground. And falling short of the breeze ledge. Man, that is... He tried to play it safe, and it just bit him bad.
He tried to go very fast, and sometimes when you try to go very fast, it just ends up hurting you. RockChalk not getting the triple jump you wanted. Slight mistake, but heading on over here. Oh, overshooting the maze hole. But in there, but now he's got himself a comfy lead. Peepo comfy. He's got his blanket. He's gotten his slippers on, his favorite socks, his favorite music being played by Alexa so beautifully in the corner, and, you know, a nice little fireplace. Okay, but the fire went out. RockChalk trying to spark it back up. And flame.
Yep, very nice. Moving on to, you know, a little bit of a discrepancy between them. They decide to do the stars in a slightly different order.
Yeah, RockChalk wanted to do Snowman's Head first, but did mess it up. Okay, now RockChalk with the slightly advanced strats here. About as advanced as they get. 2 speed kicks in the span of a couple of seconds. And Heisenberger, we see him fumbling on the slope.
Not even going for the speed kicks. That really seems to be the note of Heisenberger within the past few minutes, is going for relatively safe strats and just not quite getting them. The spaghetti blocking his vision. You know, if you can't see the screen through that spaghetti, how are you going to play with those spaghetti hands?
I would even go as far as to say that maybe he's not dealing with spaghetti necessarily. It could be fettuccine. It could be zucchini. It might be a genie in the bottle that he needs right now to make a wish that the fettuccine or spaghetti or whatever it might be, wisp it away.
Yep, and I mean, it could even be rigatoni, or the absolute worst case could be vomit on his sweater already.
Okay, and that is actually seeming to be the case. Mom's spaghetti.
Spaghetti, absolutely. I mean, that's the worst kind to have spreading all over, because, you know, mom's spaghetti, the best spaghetti, especially if you're a member of the Italian heritage. And I mean, that is just rough to see. And
no doubt about that.
Meanwhile, while Heisenberger, you know, wasting all that precious spaghetti, RockChalk going ahead and getting his entry into HMC. Ooh, if he hadn't gotten that bonk, they would have been just about synced in opening their respective doors. But instead, nope, RockChalk having to waste a little bit of time to wait for his good friend in this race.
Yeah, I gotta say, RockChalk's got the lead. Heisenburger's down, but he's definitely not out.
By no means. The only thing separating them right now is that little bit of castle movement. And depending on how HMC goes for both of them, that castle movement could definitely be reduced to nil. So RockChalk going for his triple box jump, and it looks good. Avoids the death plane pretty handily.
Oh,
Falling under the star, that's pretty well the worst way to end that line. You know, we see guys that they dive later on purpose and they have to do a little bit of movement towards the star, but right there having to turn around, attempting that dive right into it, that's rough. Let's see if Heisenburger gets it a bit better. That could save him a second or two. And I mean, at this point, every second truly counts. They're less than 20 stars away from going up to meet the big man himself. So Heisenburger with a nice start to triple box jump, saves a couple seconds with that dive. Now, RockChalk going for Christmas Miracle. Remember, he used it earlier when he was replaced by Frugal due to not being resuscitated, and he gets another. He looks God in the face and says, I want more. And you know what? He listens.
Power.
Wild.
Thank you, Halo Child, for the 100 Pride bits, and shoutouts to Dank Gnome for the 50 bits. Chat asking about my involvement with the rolled chicken tacos. I have given them a try. They are honestly exploding with flavor. It's almost too much sauce, but man, they're pretty good. I am a fan.
Yeah, they're not my all-time favorite item, but they're definitely worth something. So,
yeah, no, they're worth a try for sure. I like the sauce.
Yeah, the nacho cheese sauce is great. The girlfriend had them with guacamole, and she said they were pretty good. So I think no matter what you get, they're going to be at least decent.
Definitely. Heisenburger
now,
getting past those rolling rocks, no problem at all. We got one more star from both players before we head into the infamous Tippy. You got tick-tock clock. You know, there's pendulums. There's a clock. It's a clock. And you got Rainbow Ride. Floating. Clouds. Platforms. Spinning. Lakitu. Throwing shells. And last but not least, you've got Sky. A huge Bowser waiting to get tossed. Oh, Heisenburger, no. Wall kick. Having a hard time. This could be a very awkward position.
Oh, not quite getting high enough to overcome that developer oversight. This time he manages to get it, though, just barely getting over that ledge. Not even getting close to the switch for Christmas Miracle. Definitely wasting time that he really does not have. Meanwhile, RockChalk moving into those blue skies, birds and trees.
Commentator with a, yeah, you know, an impression that was, I was able to make out what you were going for. So good enough impression from the co-commentator. RockChalk going for this bounce and bouncing, but can he get the pole? It's a multi-step process.
Good enough as well.
Yeah, once you're at this pole, you're basically home free. Gets the wall kick, but weird ledge grab, another ledge grab. It's looking a little bit scary, a little bit spooky, but nice. Oh, Heisenburger, come on.
First try on Lakitu bounce saves so much time over even just going for the wooden platform. You know, you're saving a considerable amount of time. Now let's see if Heisenburger can match. I mean, RockChalk's gameplay, he is setting quite a high standard that Heisenburger has to reach if he has any hope of really staying in this race.
This is true. Heisenburger he's got some things he's got to make happen. And if RockChalk keeps going, and that is not a good start for Rainbow Ride, just not being strung together for Heisenburger. I don't know what it is, but certainly not driving. May have been revoked his license. RockChalk accelerating.
Ooh, just narrowly able to grab that red coin, almost sliding down to the maze and wasting even more time. Let's hope that during the star spawn animation and the preceding star grab, he's able to screw his head back on correctly. Now, simply, if your head were unscrewable, do you think you would go with wide set threads or simple threads?
Oh, hold on. RockChalk, it's an emergency. Code red, DEFCON 5, tricky triangles, too tricky. That's a DEFCON 7 for you.
Yep, having to re-hit that switch, I mean, that is just wild. We haven't seen that in a considerable amount of time. Last race, both players made a Heisenberger looking to replicate those mistakes. Let's see if he's able to get the recovery. Narrowly able to get on top.
I mean, he made some time up over RockChalk, but not as much as he was probably hoping for. RockChalk still with a somewhat demanding lead. 2 stars, granted, you know, somewhat quick ones, but Heisenberger still has to do a Lakitu bounce. That's a lot of weight on a man's shoulders.
And taking a death in Rainbow Ride just on that wall kick right there. And, I mean, if you take a death, that's the best place to do it. But in Heisenberger's position, every second counts, and you don't want to take anything from anybody. You don't have to. Meanwhile, RockChalk's starting out with 100, and it's not off to a great start RNG-wise. Let's see if that messes with his head at all. Commentator getting tripped up over the English language just because of the level of gameplay we're seeing here. Zapper from RockChalk. Meanwhile, Heisenberger moving into prime position for swinging in the breeze again. Let's see what happens this time.
He messed up Lakitu bounce once again. It's just not going well for Heisenberger, and RockChalk looking great on this 100. It's looking more and more convincing.
Heisenberger having to wait off that jump. Wait off that burn. You cannot get a high enough jump while Mario is worried about the heat on his tushy.
This is in fact true. There's bigger problems to deal with when you've got a burn-in tush.
Exactly right. Now, RockChalk with that just super handy finish right there. And, I mean, if the rest of Torturous Tick Clock goes this way, there is very, very little that Heisenberger is going to be able to do about it. But Commentator's Curse deciding to rear its ugly head, you know. Having some big troubles with that thwomp there. That is just rough.
All right, Heisenberger has finished the deed in Rainbow Ride, but he's got a new order from the chief at the department. Needs 7 stars in TikTok Clock. And RockChalk already well on his way. Oh, but a missed triple jump wall kick on time moving. What is RockChalk's backup?
Having to go around the stage relatively the casual way, because I mean, if you miss that initial cycle of those moving platforms, it is exceptionally hard to catch it back where you need to. So going for roll into the cage as a backup, you know, I don't blame him. Normally I object to the middle or bottom up approach, but in this case, what else are you going to back that up with?
I mean, he could have gone one more higher if he really wanted to, but it depends on the strat that he does, really.
Now, we see Heisenberger with also a clean 100 coin. If he gets a better ending and, you know, gets that jump immediately, that is a decent chunk of time that he's saving over RockChalk. I mean, this race has been close for the majority of it. We've seen the lead change multiple times, and there's a lot on the line for these two players. Whoever wins will be moving on. Whoever doesn't will disappear from existence in terms of this tournament bracket.
They will be banished from the Shadow, sent to the Shadow Realm.
I mean, if you're banished from the Shadow Realm, you got yourself in some real trouble there.
Yeah, this is true. Something bad must have happened. I do want to shout out Number String dropping 500 bits in the chat. Very much appreciated, sir, and Dank Gnome for another 50. Thank you, guys. Again, all cheers, subs, and donations do add to the prize pool. So, if you want to extend even more support to these runners, give them even more to fight for, it's possible.
Heisenberger can't quite get on top of those pendulums. I mean, the pit and the pendulums, the name of that star, and definitely you're seeing the pit more so than the pendulums in Heisenberger's case. Meanwhile, RockChalk with that interesting wall kick onto that unmoving bar, but you know, I guess that saves a couple of time jumps, so why not?
Yeah. It's all good in the hood, as they say. He's got one more to do. I believe these are the Reds. And RockChalk will be having an excellent chat with Mr. Toad. And honestly, it looks like RockChalk is actually on PB pace.
That definitely appears to be the case. But mistakes like that may rob him of that opportunity. Now, I'm thinking for a PB, gonna have to have an amazing bits as well as perfect free throw. Could be, you know, one throw of a makeup room, but really not sure about that.
Yeah, it's
Meanwhile,
going to be tough. It's going to be
Heisenberger-
tight.
Now, Heisenberger just has 2 more starts. He's got the time jumps on the unmoving bars and those red coins, and then he's going to be headed up to bits. So definitely a tight race, especially considering, RockChalk developing that substantial deficit initially, having such bad luck with Cannonless, but then all of a sudden, just everything just seemed to click and turn right around. Actually, it seemed to be during that little stream intermission, commentator potentially suggesting that chat may not have been totally wrong about the splice. We'll have to see.
Wow. Co-commentator with the, heinous, abominable claims.
The brazen
perhaps we-
accusations coming over here.
Commentators using big words that, probably not exactly sure how they're meant to be worded, working it, but figuring out English live here as we watch RockChalk progress through Sky. Heisenberger making moves, and he's got the triple jump wall kick. RockChalk is looking like he might just be able to barely nab himself a cheeky little PB on top of placing himself officially into the bracket. Will he do it?
Very nearly getting Goomba'd, but he's entering the pipe right as Heisenberger goes ahead and talks with Toad himself. And like co-commentator said, we tried to English good, better than earlier. Okay, that actually made grammatical sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you please tone down on the sense making? RockChalk with the baby toss, looking like a little baby out here. Not sure what happened there, but that might be the end of his chance for a PB. He's really got to move now if he wants to make it happen. 2 more throws, diving into Bowser's bod. Quite a bod there indeed. Could possibly classify it as a dad bod. Sipping on too many drinks, popping too many shrooms, and PB definitely dead just because RockChalk cannot re-grab Bowser. Winding up for the third throw.
Heisenberger failing a triple jump dive. Oh, man. RockChalk giving him half of a chance, but ultimately Heisenberger refusing, being the big man in this situation, saying, you know what, you take my spot in this tournament. Like both of these players, skydiving, only 1 parachute between them, and Heisenberger just hands it over, no argument. Even getting zapped right there, just saying, you know what, you deserve this. But I mean, what a showing from Heisenberger as well. It's kind of falling apart a bit in bits, but man, this has been an excellent run for both of these guys.
And RockChalk confirming in the Discord DM, he lost 40 seconds to Womps. It just goes to show you, you can't lose hope right off the bat. That is PB mentality. And that's fine in PB mentality, okay? That's a reset, of course. But in a race, in a tournament, you got to deal with the hand you're dealt, and RockChalk dealing with it beautifully.
Exactly.
Making it happen.
From making up just little bits of time here and there to just suddenly maintaining this monstrous lead throughout Tippy, it's been a great race for RockChalk. Now, Heisenberger entering his own Bowser event. Let's see what exactly happens with his throws.
All right, that is a first throw. Oh, okay. Interesting regrab. Winding it up. 1 more throw for this man, and he will be, finishing the run. Still only a couple minutes off of his PB. Not an awful showing at all. And 3rd throw, GG, Heisenberger making it happen. Thank you, everybody. Now, yeah, that's about it for that. We will not be having a post-interview. Just in the sake of time, we have got Feral SR versus Insane Firebat coming up next in Super Metroid Losers Round 1. So don't go anywhere. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Shoutouts once again to Vi. Definitely check them out. ! Bet in the chat. And Electric, it has been an honor commentating with you. Have a good one.
And as always, a pleasure commentating with you too, Simply. Have a great one yourself. And to all of our viewers out there, we hope you stick around. But if not, have a great day, and we hope to see you again later. Peace out.
Peace.